Welcome back to Objolivia TV, your destination for informative, analytical, and insightful news. In today's session, we will have two separate news. One will be news for the grant update, and the other one will be for GFDI empowerment ongoing in Nigeria right now. In the first session, we'll consider those concerns of grant subscribers. Subscribers of all grants in Nigeria. The UAAG, AGPGN, Eobat, Supreme, Epic, Hope Project, St. Rita, all grants in Nigeria, whether have mentioned your own or not. So the concern on this aspect is on the factor of if disbursement is going to happen on the 28th of July 2025, as we are already approaching 28, and when this factor of 28, the date was set that is when disbursement is going to take place. There were outrage in the grant ecosystem as to why disbursement is shifted again to 28, and the defense for this by the foot soldiers of grant handlers was that the IMF are going to start disbursement in other countries in Africa before returning to Nigeria. At the time, some foot soldiers giving updates even assured the masses that the president is holding closed door talk with this IMF representative for them to start first in Nigeria. But the truth about this is this IMF going to other countries in Africa to return later to disburse grant in Nigeria are all fabrications, baseless lies. In the first place, there is no such thing like IMF in this grant involvement. All these names that are being peddled recently in the grant ecosystem, the IMF, the Swiss or Switzerland visit, all these are fabrications. Especially the factor of IMF going to other African countries to start out disbursement are all fabrications. As a fact, this grant was attracted by a highly reputable Nigerian, a humanitarian, and one who interest or intent in the world or calling was to see African and Black freedom. So the fund was not just for Nigerians but to other African countries. But at the time, after the departure of this highly reputable Nigerian, which all of you already know, Professor Brami, the fund was still domiciled here in Nigeria. So ask yourself, where will disbursement supposed to commence from? Is it supposed to commence from elsewhere in Africa, or is supposed to commence from the country domiciling the fund, which is Nigeria, before even thinking of going to other West African countries? So why will anyone be telling the grant subscribers that IMF are going elsewhere to commence disbursement? The truth is disbursement is going to commence from the hosting African country, which is Nigeria, before going elsewhere to other African countries. So discountenance that fact that IMF are going elsewhere to start disbursement, it's capital lie. Even if IMF are supposed to consider Niger Republic or Ghana to start disbursement from, are we not supposed to see the IMF present with the government in those African countries? Or is it an activity that are conducted indoors without coverage by the press? IMF are not interacting with individuals or private organizations. They interact with government institutions. The president of the country interact with the government of the country, not individual. So there's no way IMF will be elsewhere in Africa that will not see it circulating in the press that IMF has disbursed grants to Niger, Cameroon, Ghana, and will return to Nigeria to disburse shortly. So when we have spent how many days? Remember when the date for IMF first circulated before the 20th of July? Now we are already beyond 20th, and no IMF present is spotted anywhere in Africa. That's one of the more reasons why you as a beneficiary should cease consuming those lies they are teaching out to grant subscribers. And those that are still lying to the masses should not forget that the Supreme God is watching in heaven. We are admonished by the scripture, by the Quran, to always tell the truth at all times. And I pray henceforth all foot soldiers of Grand subscribers should start telling the masses the truth of why disbursement is being delayed. The factor of the CBN, the Pioneer, and the IMF slots or senator slots that are being perpetuated in the grant ecosystem right now. Please, grant subscribers, stop wasting your money on these fictitious, fraudulent grant schemes. There's no such thing. Technically, there's no such thing like IMF, Pioneer, senator slots. How many grants do we have in Nigeria? It's only one grant. And this grant is split into two perspectives, which is the cash disbursement and the project. So anyone that is telling you you are going to pay 20,000 to receive 100 billion naira is lying to you in the name of Pioneer slots. They are perpetuating it everywhere. Recently, imagine someone returning to the grant ecosystem requesting for subscription for Pioneer slots when we are already at the eve of disbursement. What are you subscribing for? They have subscribed for grants in this country since 2014, 2023, at the eve of disbursement, and here in 2025. Technically, there is nothing like new subscription in the grant ecosystem. Anyone that is collecting money from you is just using it to pay hotel bills, to feed, and to sustain themselves while waiting patiently for the day disbursement will start. So they can manufacture different names to collect your money. Between March till this July 2025, we have gotten several names of slot or grants to be disbursed. And the question is, how many grants are we expecting to receive in this country? It's just one grant. And this only one grant is the UAS grant. Any name that you hear are all fabricated names, are all subject heads to collect money from the masses. Whether you call it CBN slot, Pioneer slot, Senator slot, soon you will have Donald Trump slot or Tinubu slot, or may even have Ngozi Israel slot, and you will subscribe. People sit at their respective homes and manufacture names of grants, and you keep on subscribing. Let's go by the factor that disbursement is going to happen on the 28th. And the schedule was already submitted for disbursement to take place. Where are they going to capture your name for this disbursement? Because all the organizations that are supposed to receive this fund were already submitted to the bank for disbursement. Where are they going to disburse this fund from to you? There's no grant in this country called CBN or Pioneer to be disbursed to the masses. Everyone is hiding under the umbrella of the one UAS grant and giving it different names, collecting money from Nigerians. Masses, beware. Stop wasting your money. Wait patiently for the grants you have subscribed over the years for. For those who have already paid money subscribing to the popular CBN and the Pioneer slot, I'm not saying you should go and fight them and ask for your money back. Wait for disbursement to commence and see if they are going to disburse the fund to you. Maybe they will settle you from the fund that will be given to them by the government during disbursement. So there's no need fighting anybody now until disbursement commences. This warning is strictly for those who are chatting us up on our different platforms and sending feedback messages requesting to know if they should subscribe for the Pioneer slot. My answer is, don't waste your money. Consider that what we are expecting is cash disbursement. Not everyone will participate in the project. So don't let anyone lie to you that you are going to execute project, borehole, road construction, electrification project, schools. Don't let people lie to you in wasting your money in registering for those schemes. The project is reserved for some certain audience of citizens in this country. The most you can expect as a CEO is the cash disbursement. The arrangement for cash disbursement were long concluded. All you are waiting at the moment for is the alert dropping in your bank account. For now, the status of disbursement is it can start at the moment. It can start at any time, even as this video is playing on this channel. Nobody technically can tell you disbursement is starting on the 28th. But the truth is, it can start before 28, or it can even start beyond 28. The most important factor that you as a grant subscriber should hold on to at the moment is that disbursement will definitely take place despite the delay. Yes, we have experienced bouts of repeated delays, especially when disbursement is getting close. Activities that are tied to several organizations, government institutions, non-governmental institutions, is not actually achieved in a platter of gold. There are always resistance, people that are dissatisfied with the process and fight to ensure they get their interest secure. And when that occurs, there is bound to be delays. That doesn't mean disbursement will not take place. The first question is always, is there money to be disbursed? And the answer is yes. If there is no money, nobody will be petitioning anybody or fighting anybody in the grant ecosystem. It's just one grant lying in wait. But Theopat came, Telpocon, Ishiva, various other grant handlers came profiling their organizations to disburse this fund. But the unfortunate scenario is that past government of this country have not always granted approval for them to disburse, and they fail and retire back to their homes. And finally, the luck we have in the grant ecosystem is that the current government has approved the disbursement of the fund to the masses. So that is what is important at the moment. So wait for it. There may be delay, but there will definitely be disbursement in this ecosystem. Nobody will depart here empty-handed. For beneficiaries that are asking if there is still provision for bundle heads, going by the schedule that is approved by the government, everyone in this particular grant is a beneficiary. No bundle head. Even the CEO money, some of you are already aware, the CEO money is not going to be part of the fund that is coming to you. The government have designed it in a way that you will complete cash disbursement before accessing your fund. And that is as a way of ensuring that CEOs disperse the fund to the masses. So after you complete your disbursement, print your bank statement, tender it to the disbursement committee, gain approval to access your own fund as a CEO. But there's a logistics that is provided to all CEOs to manage the entire expenses or requirement during disbursements, including the bank charges that has been taken care of. There's a certain information we are expecting to receive in the days ahead, and that is why I never come on here to update you why disbursement did not happen on the last date that was scheduled to take place. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, kindly subscribe immediately, activate the notification bell, hence in the days ahead when we receive this feedback, especially on when the disbursement is starting precisely, we will return to this channel to update you. Activate this channel notification bell to get notified. The days ahead are quite sensitive. I'm encouraging all subscribers of various grants to hold their peace. Maintain absolute confidence that disbursement is going to take place. It's a time for you, CEO, to run a check on all the beneficiaries' accounts in your organizations. The whole 1,000 beneficiaries. Run a test transfer to see if those account numbers are valid. Then those that were using Heritage Bank, change them. Provide a venue for people to change their non-commercial bank account numbers to accounts that will receive disbursement. There's a time for you to test run your beneficiary account details to confirm if they are actually valid, instead of waiting for the day the money hits your account, because you may not have time to test run this account, and don't expect any beneficiary not to receive alert because of their invalid account number. Because when disbursement starts, if any beneficiary have submitted a wrong account number, you may not have time to call them to provide the correct account details. So this is the time to test run all the beneficiary account details in your NGO and ensure they are disbursement ready. Some of the beneficiaries in your NGO are already deceased, so you get a replacement for those account details. Company bank accounts are not acceptable for disbursement. Enterprise, NGOs, companies, don't transfer funds to a beneficiary that submitted a company account number to you. That will be seen as a fraud. The disbursement committee or the supervisory board will see that you are using your company to receive the fund for yourself, since it's not bearing your name. So don't disburse to company bank account to save yourself from issues as a CEO. Change company account details now that you still have time. Disbursement is a must in this ecosystem. Pray for God to sustain the success that we have already gotten so far towards disbursement. Because if disbursement failed to happen in this current administration, the next administration may not allow disbursement to occur. Pray for every arrowhead or authority that has been selected to oversee disbursement to stay alive and complete disbursement, because a departure of any of this soul may stall the entire process. Pray for good health. A lot of people are sick lately. Most of the grant subscribers are sick. The sickness is as a result of unhealthy thinking owing to the delay. Hold a very strong positive thinking on disbursement, so you will not depart at the hour disbursement is taking place or before disbursement even takes place. God has greater plans for you. You have to maintain a strong thinking tendency to benefit from this divine plan. When I look at the coast, disbursement is already heading to us. We are the luckiest of all generations that have attempted disbursement and all subscribers that are still standing here alive. That's an indication that we are all going to be beneficiaries of this disbursement. Remember to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell, because in the days ahead, as the information filters in on disbursement, I'm going to present it to you accordingly to get you prepared for the bigger moment that is already ahead of us. For now, the status of disbursement is it can start at the moment. It can start at any time, even as this video is playing on this channel. Thank you for having me on Home Delivery TV today. Bye.